At some point in your video journey will come a day when you outgrow what you can accomplish with just your smartphone. As you continue to pursue excellence, your skill's going to continue to outgrow your current kit, and you'll find yourself putting more and more of your time and money into reaching whatever the next level is for you at that time, maybe even at the expense of your sanity. Lucky for you, this channel is all about saving you time, cash, and sanity while we pursue the next level in our productions. So gather around the dumpster fire that is my purchasing mistakes, because today I am your object lesson. Here are some purchases I regret and what I wish I'd bought instead. Plus, we'll meet some of my friends. Number 1, a smartphone gimbal. This was a terrible purchase. Very early in my content journey, I got caught up in the hype around smartphone video. I had already invested in my first entry-level DSLR, and rather than look for ways to get the most out of that, I spent $150 on the Zhiyun Smooth Q. The thing about smartphones is they already stabilize their footage. Plus, it's really easy to stabilize yourself with like an hour of practice. So I spent $150 on something I could have achieved with effort, and I gave up on smartphone video shortly after that to continue using my DSLR. What I wish I had done was buy camera lenses. Because camera lenses, I have, for example, that $150 could have covered 2 of the camera lenses that I bought from a pawn shop that I still use today, even on my more expensive, newer cameras. That would have been the right purchase in that situation. Number 2, the Nikon D5600. The issue here is not that the camera's a Nikon. Don't ever let someone tell you that the brand name on your camera will prevent you from making good art with it. The issue is that I already owned the D3400. In simpler terms, I bought a second entry-level camera from Nikon. I did this because what I needed at the time was a microphone jack so that I could use a lapel mic for some church announcements. Now, my purchase did technically give me the mic jack, but it accomplished nothing else. I spent almost $600 to get that microphone jack and another $30 or so for the lapel mic. Not only should I have been buying used instead of buying new when I was purchasing entry-level gear, I shouldn't have paid $600 for a single feature. The sensor size was the same, the battery life is the same or worse, there's no headphone jack to even monitor that mic input. It wasn't a super great buy. The correct buy here would have been to buy 3 Tascam DR10Ls. That's the lapel mic I'm recording right now, which means that I bought it years ago and I still use it now. Not only was it multi-purpose, but by having 3 instead of 1, I could have used them to get more than one person at a time recorded into my audio footage. It's a wiser buy, it's a more reliable buy, and because it's built to do one thing well, it does that thing way better than a camera does. The onboard mic preamp of a camera is just not worth buying the camera for. The purpose of a camera is to get audio you can sync to something that records well. But basically you get the point. I should have bought audio recorders to get that one feature if the one feature is all I needed at the time and save myself some money. Number 3, the Saramonic UW Mic 9 wireless audio kit. This incredibly promising looking audio system sounds great on paper. It also sounds great if you're only 2 feet away from the receiver. But any further away than that, and there's a ton of RF interference, and the built-in channel scanner always comes back to the same channel rather than being helpful. Maybe this is a manufacturing defect, and I can't test it for that because I got this shortly after the quarantine began, and I don't want to ship my germs back to anyone else, nor do I want them to ship their germs to me. But guess what I could have gotten for the price of the UW Mic 9 wireless microphone system? That's right, 2 more DR10Ls. A better way to get into wireless audio would have been to do what I tell all my clients to do, which is rent a bunch of different solutions, listen to how they sounded, and then pick one of those to purchase. Had I done that then, I would know that I way prefer the sound of the Sennheiser G3 wireless system, and I would own one of those, or like 12 Tascam DR10Ls. In case you can't tell, I really like the Tascam DR10L. No, I'm not sponsored by them or anyone else I've talked about today. I figured I can't be the only one who makes mistakes, and I was starting to feel bad about myself as I wrote this script, so I called up a couple of my friends and I asked them if they had any purchasing decisions they regret. And boy, did they.
Hey guys, I'm Jacob. Like Josh said, it's pretty common to make mistakes when buying your video gear. Everyone has done it at some point. It was only a few months after I bought my first DSLR when I realized I needed something for stabilization. I had seen people using motorized gimbals, and like most people, I was amazed. And I was pretty immediately like, I need one of those. I got to get me one of those. And I looked on Amazon what the price was, and I was like, no, not gonna need one of those. Those are way too out of my price range, especially for just getting into this whole filmmaking video production thing. So I tried to look for cheaper alternatives, and I searched and searched, and I found something that I thought would function essentially the same. I ended up getting a Roxant Pro video camera stabilizer gimbal. it looks like this. This is what it is. As you can tell, it's not motorized. It operates through a weight and this gimbal right here. You can kind of adjust the tightness of the socket on the gimbal, and you oil it up, and it's supposed to stabilize shots for movement when you're moving, doing a push in or a pull out or some sort of walking pan or something like that. I was young and naive enough that I thought it would just function as a stabilizer at all times. I thought I could just slap my camera on the top, hold it like this, and it would be stable for any sort of shot I needed to get. That just wasn't true. It's no good for fast moving shots. It's hard to keep balanced. It's really only good for one specific shot or two specific shots, and it's for push-ins and push-outs. I have hardly ever used this thing, especially when I first got it. I was really disappointed. Eventually, I've used it in a couple short films and narrative stuff that I've worked on, but even then, I haven't even really been satisfied with this performance. If I could take back buying this, I would. So if you could learn anything from my experience, I think you should definitely keep in mind and research what exactly the piece of equipment you're buying is supposed to be used for. Don't make assumptions about what it can do. Look at exactly what people have done with it in the past and make sure that that is compatible with what you're wanting to use the equipment for. If you do that, I think you're well on your way to making some great stuff and saving yourself some money.
Hey, I'm in my son's room because quarantine, and this is the quietest place where my kids will not be in the video. But one of my regrets on a purchase was the Panasonic GH5S. And the reason that is because if you do any kind of high frame rate, then it introduces this noise that is just really terrible and really difficult to get rid of. I finally, after doing a crazy amount of digging, I found this guy who created this profile for Neat Video that got rid of it, but it softened the image quite a bit. So you lost the crispiness of what you would expect from a GH5. So I regret that one, especially for how expensive it was. And that's why I jumped to the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K, and I don't regret it.
Maybe for you, the concern isn't what to buy next, it's what to do next. If you're worried about what happens when this quarantine lifts, we get it and we want to help. That's why next Tuesday, we'll be giving out a checklist for building a sustainable digital marketing strategy. To make sure you don't miss it, make sure you click the subscribe button. And just like last time, I'll see you next time.